All right, yogis, we got all regulars today. Remember to listen to your body, have some fun, and change it up however you need. If it's too easy, you make it stronger. Or if it's too strong, you make it easier, right? Let's start on our back today. Just a quick kind of grounding meditative position. If there's a different one you want to start in, that's cool. You know, child pose is fantastic, seated meditation, or just simply laying on your back. I'm going to use this fish pose here. Remember, I don't really do the restorative bridge ever to start class because it is it's more of a weighted traction through the lumbar spine. This is a little bit more through the middle spine, so support it, the vertebral column. You can bring your arms wide, you can bring the soles of the feet together, but notice my body shifted toward the top of my mat. I want to make sure the block is underneath my upper back, not really my middle back here, especially as a starting position. All right, so first position, we'll just take a few deep breaths. So you're just, let's say, meditating for the first few moments of class, working your breath practice, slowing the inhale and exhale, connecting to your breath more, bringing the breath into the abdomen a little bit better. Another thing I really like to do here, yogis, you can add your breath hold practice if you haven't done that yet today. And another fun thing you could do more physically speaking would be called Mula Bandha or pelvic floor perineum pulsing. So there's muscles at the bottom of your pelvis. And what you do is you kind of squeeze and gently release. You don't release it all the way. It's kind of like any muscle work. You're engaging it, releasing it about 3/4, engage. So it's this, you can't demonstrate this one, right? I can't show it, but it's this muscles, they call, some people say the Kegel muscles, some people say the anus. It's kind of like those, but also more mainly in between. So you pulse those muscles in there. Pretend like you're trying to strengthen that and you keep pulsing. That's another thing we do often in yoga that I'm not teaching enough. All right, now please take your time. If you want to hold longer, you can. We'll meet. You can sit up off your box slowly. We're going to lay on our back. And just some basics here. You just start 20 seconds, bring your knees into your chest, circle your knees. Think like light therapeutic movements. I like to roll out the ankles, wiggle the toes, circle the knees to massage the back, straighten the legs, bend the knees, shake the legs out in the sky. Draw circles with the knees individually to circle the hip joint, and even put my feet on the floor wide, bend the knees, and windshield wipe the knees. Okay, and the first thing we'll do here is wake up the back body, which is our bridge position. If you want to go, I would like movement probably this early in class rather than a bridge hold, but depends on your morning already. So feet down. If you want extra block between your thighs is good because we just stretched the inner thighs in previous position. So now we tighten them. So you're kind of pressing your lower back down, which articulates your pelvic tilt. And then you're pressing through your big toe and heel after the pelvic tilt and lifting your hips up off the floor into your lower back. Middle back will lift also, but you don't have to go high for it to be good. And then you lower down after you're up there. Don't forget, all regulars, so just a little less, just a little bit more suggestion. You could pulse at the top. You can go up and down a little faster. You can hold. You can do one leg if you're feeling good. And you can lift your heels at the top. You can lift your toes at the top. You can do an angled bridge if you're feeling ready for that. We've done twisting bridges. So yogis, we're going to do the active isolated stretching. Remember, I learned this from a kinesiologist, and you don't have to be warm. He showed this on an 80-year-old man who was not warmed up in exercise at all. Okay, so we're going to go right into it today. So you did your bridges, which activates the back line, which is the active isolated stretching method I'm going to show you right now is for the hamstring. You can do this on any muscle. This is a very easy way to learn it. Eventually, let's meet with our knees into our chest. So if you're just joining, you missed our restorative fish and our bridges, but you can do this right now anyway. All right, so it looks and sounds like this, guys. You got to pay attention and listen closely. The strap goes around the right foot. The left leg releases. I'm not using tension on the strap yet. Listen close. You inhale the leg forward with the strength of the leg. I'm not using the strap. I bring the leg up with the strength of the leg. At the top, I pull for 1 second only. I inhale leg forward, exhale leg up, pull 1 second. Inhale. Look, yogis, when it goes down, you're trying to reciprocally inhibit. I know it's hard because some of your straps might not be long enough, right? So you try to let the strap go flaccid here as it goes down and up. And at the top, 1 second pull. 1 second pull. Yogis, you are not warm enough and you're pulling into a range that your leg is normally not in. If you pull more than 1 second, you are risking injury. The thing here is you're trying to tricking your nervous system. You have these particular neural cells in the muscle. One is a muscle spindle fiber, one is a Golgi tendon organ. And what they do is respond to tension or too much compression in the muscle. You know, you hear this, you can't really engage a muscle enough to hurt yourself in contraction. It's not really possible. You have all these protection mechanisms throughout the muscles and the tendinous junctions. And what we're doing is tricking. Now, I want you to go right to your second side, all right? Because we're just kind of learning this method here. You're letting the leg actively lower down, which means using your leg muscles to go down slowly. It's like core work. You're using the muscles of the leg, the hip, to bring the leg back up. And at the top, it goes passive for a moment, and you pull it towards your chest. If you're new to this, it's kind of like achy and can sting a little bit, but just pull less. You don't go too crazy now. And try to get into a rhythm. You know, rather than always just doing like passive strap stretching. There's whole books on this method. It's called AIS, Active Isolated Stretching. It is a dynamic form. Some have shown evidence how this is one of the best ways to get flexible fast. It's always good to use a variety of methods anyway. It's not classic yoga. This is more like kinesiology stretching, right? The key, though, is the active reciprocal inhibition. I talk about that method a lot. Keeping the leg active as it goes down and up, and then passive as you pull for 1 second. Last few moments. I want to do one more thing here, yogis. So listen, you're on your second side. You're doing as many reps as feels good for you. Some days I do like 20, 30 reps there. Some days I've done like a couple sets. I'm just going to do the one today because we're going to do a second part. I want that strap back around the right foot. We're going to do dynamic here again. Now listen, it can start pretty easy. Right leg goes out to the side. Use the strength of your leg to bring up. Right leg goes across. And then use your core to come back up. It goes open. And then the left hand takes it, it goes across. Be careful, it's our first twist, right? I don't really mean be careful. I just mean proceed with a little bit of caution, okay? Here, here. Inhale, exhale.
Now, that's only the initial starter. It's linear. What you do is you take it complex, which means you put it all together. The right leg goes forward, the right leg goes wide, the right leg comes toward the chest, across, down. It's a big circle. Hopefully you got room where you're practicing. Now, some days, you're going to see it. We're going to do it active in a different way shortly. So it's a really nice way to warm up the hip joint. Now, since this is all flexion based, make sure you go your opposite direction. So you go across the front to the body, wide from the chest. Okay, so I don't want to spend too much time here. A few hip circles each direction does a nice job. All right, because you already did it here anyway. Now, listen, if your strap's long enough, we're going to try this. We're going to turn onto our left side. Strap around your right foot. Watch. Strap behind me. Right heel to your butt. Pull the belly in. Right hand reaching down the back. Pull the strap. Stretching the front of your hip flexor. Right? Does everyone see what's happening? I'm on my left side. My right hand pulls my strap behind me. But pull your belly in little, guys, so you don't overarch your back. You should feel a big stretch. I don't teach this that much because I don't know if all of you have straps that are long enough to do this. But, let's do it. At least you learn it in case you get that strap. Doesn't have to be perfect. If you can't do this, you reach back with your hand and grab your foot like we do most often. That's the big lengthener through the front body, right? Bridge is reciprocal inhibition, activator back body, but not really like a stretch for the front body. Okay, can we do our second leg, please? Left foot in the strap and big dynamic. Remember, I started lateral. So I brought the leg open and I brought the leg across the body first, just before we get too crazy here. So the left leg's going open, the left leg's going across the body. The inhale opens the leg, the exhale closes it. It's always good to have a breath intention. It doesn't have to be exact, but it's good to use your breath, strategically in any exercise. That's a tough thing, it kind of gets thrown under the radar a lot. People get really good at their physical approach towards fitness and yoga, but they're not really optimizing their breath, which is really kind of shortchanging themselves. It's like shooting yourself in the foot. You're doing great in a part of it, but you got to really remember, because I can't remind you every second about breathing. You got to be resilient and remember. It's so easy to forget and just kind of be lazy there. Okay, then you do the circling if you haven't started, and you do about 3, 4, 5 each direction. And if you feel like you need to pause somewhere, guys, that's cool. We always do that more often. And then no rush, just a reminder, you're going to roll onto your right side. Strap goes kind of behind you, or left knee bends behind you, so your butt and your heel kind of closer together. And then your top hand's behind you, if you can, over the shoulder, like go Mukhasana like that. And then you're kind of pulling that foot behind you, thigh behind you, creating a big back bend, stretching front body. Again, try to remember compensation patterns: back arching, pull navel in, hip rotating, drop the foot down or up, thigh, hip bone, leg bone abducting, knee lifting too much, drop it down a tiny bit. You should feel a pretty good stretch there. And remember this one, it's a nice one. So yogis, what I'd like you to do, there is no rush. We're going to meet on our back.
It might feel good to take a quick happy baby, or intermediate practitioner would be plow pose here. Remember, plow is going to be a lot more spine. Happy baby is lower back, but it's a lot more legs, and they're kind of the same type of pose. Don't feel pressure to take plow, but if you're going really big or feeling good, you could try plow. Swing your legs up over your body. We're going to do spine here next anyway, so. Nice job with your reclining yoga. Let's keep it moving. Eventually, hamstrings rocking forward and back. You grab the legs and you rock and you kind of massage out the body one last time here.
Your meet up and tabletop yogis. So once you're up and seated, if you need cat cows, you can. I'm going to teach cat cows a little bit different from our down dog and plank. So right to dog, I want weight bearing in the arms. And see if you notice your down dog feels a little bit open. Remember, we did a pretty athletic approach towards snap stretching today. So take a moment here. And what we're going to try today is cat cow. I'll start demoing. You just listen as you're warming up in your down dog, okay? Now, you want to bend your knees for sure, especially if you're new to this. The down dog is more like your cow pose. So I'm going to bend my knees, stick my tailbone up and away, lift my chin, arch my back. Now, you could just stay here. It's kind of like a modified plank dog where round the spine, drop the hips. Inhale, bent knee, arching back dog, cow dog. Exhale, cat plank, hips tuck, back spreads. You see, this is like my cat pose. Inhale my cow. Exhale my cat. Inhale my cow. It's a movement you're so familiar with, but now brought into a different place where there's more weight. Your knees aren't down, so there's more tension. So see if you can find that. You can either do cat-cow simply in down dog, barely shifting forward, if at all. And you can also do the cat-cow in a plank shifting forward. So it's more like plank is cat and down dog is cow. See if you can find it. I often try to suggest that yoga poses and movements are often like a puzzle. And you have to kind of put the pieces together and figure it out. It's all neuromuscular training. Your body's like trying to learn to do something new. So don't give up if you're not good at it, and don't get frustrated. That's normal. Your body can't fire muscles in certain ways in the beginning. Now, just one of my favorite basic exercises I pretty much do almost every day, probably about 4 or 5 days a week on average, because I tend to forget some days, but it's just push-ups. If you can't do push-ups, you do them on the knees. If that's even tough, you bend the elbows 1 inch and you straighten. There are ways to do push-ups. Remember, if you're working with somebody who's really not developed upper body, you actually have to stand up, guys. This is push-up progression. This is the first. And then as they get stronger, you have them go down a little lower, like this. You don't have them on the floor actually for a while in the true push-up progression. And then once they're on the floor, they're on their knees. Don't bend your elbows out. Hug them in. I do push-ups like this all the time. They're never out like this. The wide angle push-up is a thing, but we don't really need to do that, all right? So get a good round of push-ups in. If you're feeling good, what I like to do is hold low plank and do like a little pulse in low plank. I like that, you pump it out, it's kind of like what it is. You hold low plank. We do that a lot because I love the isometric, but this little pulse in low plank, really get the muscles pumping, is fantastic, right? Yogis, you can do push-ups like every day. I've done the things where you do 30 days in a row push-ups. It's incredible how much upper body strength you build doing push-ups, right? You can literally feel the muscles like bigger, stronger. You do push-ups every day for like 2 weeks, you're gonna be able to do way more, way stronger in like 2-3 weeks. All right. It's really incredible. You just got to commit to being consistent. All right.
slowly, I'm just going to bring you right to down dog because you did 2 back bends already, and then walk your feet to the front of the mat. I got to get your legs going now, okay? Because we did the arms, we did the spine just now, we did the hips well, and now take a forward bend at the front of your mat. It's good to explore at this point. Kind of walk your hands to the side. If you need to bring your arms behind you after the push-ups, that would be an antagonist stretch. So you guys know the pose. You know, you forward bend, you take a moment to calm your nervous system in the inversion. So today, it's another thing. It's like squats, like fundamentals, push-ups and squatting. So we're going to do like chair, and we're going to do like a sagittal chair. So take your time, find your feet about hips width distance, and find your chair posture. Arms can be in any position really. If you want more arms up, if you want easier arms, you know, either forward, at prayer. Now listen, feet or hips width distance, you're in a chair. Step your right foot back in space about 3 inches only. So you're staggered. Your feet are like this. It's going to feel weird. Try to now equally distribute the weight in the feet. We always do the chairs symmetrically, and then you can do like a little bit of movement, like a little forward and back, a tiny bit side to side, a little bit up and down. Okay, so it's important that you're not too stiff here because you're in a very asymmetrical position. Probably going to feel awkward. Okay, listen, step your first foot forward, step your second foot, try to do only about 3 inches because you are going to get a second round of 6-inch step back. So your feet are like this in a chair. Find it, breathe. The name is literally sagittal chair because from the side you can see that you're very asymmetrical. If I was looking at you from the front, I can maybe not really tell that they're 1 foot step back. It's only from the side you can really tell that your feet are not horizontally, they're not placed symmetrically. Okay, try to keep the chair. I know you got to rest right now. Okay, now bring that foot forward. Now listen, first foot steps back. I'm not having you step wide right now. Step back 6 inches. So, you know, depending on how big your feet are, you might be here now. This one's going to be awkward. Okay, we are going to do another round of this later with the heel lifted. So right now, both heels are attempting to stay down. You're trying to keep equal weight into the big toes, outer edge of the feet, and heels, not letting your knees buckle in on your back arch, and you're just finding it. Okay, remember neuromuscular confusion here, confusing the muscles and the nervous system. Step that foot forward, last part, that foot steps back. Whatever foot it is. Remember, if it's awkward, you're doing it right, and that's really the point. Confuse your muscles regularly. As you can see, it's been a weird class so far, pretty much. So your legs just got really worked, okay? Please take your time. Step your back foot forward, inhale up to standing, take a big inhale, and just cleanse the palate. Exhale, forward fold for the toes. Take your inhale, half lift, lengthen your spine, palate cleanser. High plank to low plank, first chaturanga. If you want to do knees, chest, chin, that's great. Anything else added is fine. Gentle cobra, full cobra, big cobra. Don't forget, fancy cobras we haven't done in a while, looking over the shoulders, kind of turning, moving in cobra. Try to find spaces in yoga where you're too rigid often and start to teach your body to be a little bit more free and exploratory. Or if you're too fidgety in places, be still more. Downward dog, guys. I need a big side body stretch. So we didn't really hold down dog too long. I want to get one in here. It's my favorite kind of lateral tilt early stretch. Can't do triangle yet, probably. So feet about hips width distance. Inhale, lift heels high. Drop heels to the right, please. Feeling the long, big stretch in the left side body. What happens is a lot of people shift the plank here, and that makes this more of a spinal rotation. I'm trying to do this particular exercise right now to open up the lateral outer body. So if you go in a rotation, you get a little of that, but not really. Okay. And then you inhale your heels to center. No rush if it feels good and needed. Man, some days this stretch is so good, and I'll just like hold it forever on a certain side. And then the second, go ahead if you're not there yet. So the goal is extended stimulation, weight bearing on the arms. The, basically, the longer you hold it, the more you're going to stimulate strength response in any exercise. Now, I want to do something we did I think we did it one class last week. It's a core mobility drill. It's not that difficult, really. You drop down to your knees once you're done your side stretching. And we're kind of like putting stuff together, all right? Crossing your forearms, hands on shoulders. Now, you bend the knees, you hinge forward. You start to go to the right as you lift. You're in a side bend. You just kind of warm that up. And then you go back. You're in a back bend. It's camel, but not like a stretchy one. And then you go left, and then you go forward. Notice my hips can go in opposition, but they're kind of more sturdy in center. And then I go around the second direction. And I want to go slow and really feel my core activating, okay? Easier is to go forward and back. We've done that a lot. Then you go side to side, and then you twist a little bit. But if you can, you put it all together. If it's easy, just go way slower. Going super slow makes this more difficult for strength tension. So that's circumduction of the core. I'm going to do these two. Make sure you enter both directions. Only one round, guys. Make sure you do it well here because it's one round, and I want to connect the circumduction directly right in the hips. You warmed it up well, so you're ready to do it. So tabletop position, please. I would suggest table. We do this in many other places, but this is the place where you can slow down. Now press your hands down, shoulders over your wrists. You're going to hover your right shin and foot an inch. Okay, hover your right foot and shin an inch. Bring your right knee to your chest now. So it's like you're in plank, and we always do it. And you bring your knee to your chest. Okay, now listen, bring the right leg wide out. Think of a dog urinating on a fire hydrant. Your right knee goes out wide, really slow. Everything is really slow now, okay? Now shoot the right leg back to the back of your room here. You can straighten the leg too here. I'm really doing it more for the hip strengthening in its most dynamic form. You turn the knee down, the foot up to the sky. Let me demonstrate. Looks like some of you guys are doing some weird stuff. So I had you go here, guys. Then I had you go here. Then I'm trying to get you to go here. Don't let that back arch. And then I go back in really slow. Knee in the chest. Leg goes out wide. Leg goes back, hip turns down, foot toward the sky. You can bend your knee to your butt, heel to your butt more, but don't let the back arch. Again, knee comes in the chest. Go really slow, slow as possible. Knee goes wide. It's like a dog urinating on a fire hydrant. So you internally rotate, so the knee comes back behind you, but the hip turns kind of down, the foot goes up to the sky, maybe bend your heel to your butt more. And then now we'll just reverse directions. Go back to the dog urinating on the fire hydrant. Then slowly bring the knee back toward the chest. You can even adduct. It's almost like you bring it across to your left arm. Just kind of further rein. Now bring the leg back up behind you again, where this kind of second direction started. If this is difficult, you're doing it correct, okay? You might need to take rest and stuff. That's fine. Knee goes wide like the dog on the fire hydrant. And then Slow. It's not like you're really pausing anywhere. It's like you're going inch by inch all through this space. The slowest, biggest kind of hip circling you can do with max kind of like strength practice. Okay. Can you do one more in that opposite direction? We're only doing one round here. Looks like some of yours are done. So what we do is we shake it out. You neutralize with a cat cow movement, a child pose, chaturanga. And then you do your second side, left knee, shin hovers. Just notice, guys, you want to try to keep equal weight in both hands. Notice if your body shifts side to side. Try to keep it all very sturdy and still. You know, it's hard for me to see you guys well. You're not, the only thing you're moving is the hip and the leg. So notice compensations like body moving, shifting. So you start with the knee to the chest and you bring it wide like the dog with the fire hydrant, and then you bring it slowly as possible. You're trying to get detailed with your strength. And then the legs back, kind of behind you and up, like you always do in yoga. And the heel can squeeze to the butt or it can straighten. I kind of do both when I'm doing this stuff. I tend to say, I don't want to say I save this for an easy day, but it's a day when I have like a little bit lower energy usually, where I can't do squats, you know, weighted lunges. I can't do like jumping squats and, you know, big stuff. I kind of do like subtle, isolated joint work. So you're trying to do 3 each direction. You got to discipline yourself. You know, this is the biggest joint in the body in its most complex form. It's really good stuff, guys. Come on, slow down. Feel your hip more than you normally do. How's your core relating to your hip work here? Can you pull the belly in as you're strengthening the hip? It's always good to teach core to work with hips and legs. That's one thing I loved about yoga, you know, when I found it. You know, I was learning about exercise a lot, and I was, well, what made me fall double in love with yoga, let's say. I was learning about it and I was like, whoa, exercise is like, or yoga is all compound exercise. And that's what all like the modern stuff is leaning towards. You know, no, those machines really aren't that functional. They're good for making your muscles swell up and isolate them pretty decent. But life never has you in like closed chain isolated positions. It's like, I can't think of one, right? So yoga is like, wow, it's all, you know, open chain compound and complex exercise. It's like such a cool system. Um, you know, still most of my exercise is yoga, you know, even I started to add more weights just as of recent, but it's because I kind of got too flexible. Okay. I don't know if any of you are dealing with that yet. Well, that takes a lot of time to get kind of over flexible. So listen, it looks like some of you are done. I hope you went 3 each direction because you have to have equal focus on both directions. Um, I'd actually almost rather have you have extra on the weaker direction of the circle. So when I do it, I'm a little better at starting in, going wide back the first direction. That going from back out wide tends to be my most difficult transition there. So I always try to like slow down in that space and give a little extra focus. Now I want to go right into core. Now this is hips, and I'm going to have you move today. So I'm going to give your wrists a break, which means we're going to come down to our forearms, tuck our toes, and find forearm plank. Now this is core, but again, it is hips, it's side body. There's big stuff we're doing today. You're gonna drop your feet or hips width distance. We did it in dog, but now it's the plank I mentioned. Heels drop to the right, you pause. Outer edge of right foot, inner edge of left foot. Okay, then your heels come back to center, and then your heels go to the left, outer edge of left foot, inner edge of right foot. Your forearms both stay down. It's not side plank yet. It's core. Okay, heels go to the right, it's rotational core. Heels to the right, outer edge of right foot, inner edge of left foot, quick pause. Heels to the center, heels to the left, outer edge of left foot, inner edge of right foot. And then you get into that. You gotta, you know, a lot of times when I do this, I have shoes on. It's easier because your toes have to articulate a certain way, but just go slow. Some days I do it fast, to be honest. You know, I kind of bounce my hips back side to side, but If it's too much, just do like regular plank or hold it like we more so often do. Weight bearing on arms, rotation through the core. Some of you are still going, so I'll give you a few more moments here.
So yogis, you got one more thing down here, okay? And it's the back body now. It is the symmetry. You just did crazy kind of hips and spine, core. Now I do want to do the gentle cobras. All right. So it's just simple. It's two parts. You're gonna do these. I call them little back crunches. Point toes, yogis. The key is to keep your feet down. I don't want glute big contraction. I want lower back. So the hands slide near your lower ribs are here if you're going for it. Okay, down by sides. You pull the belly in. Inhale, lift your chest. You feel your back engaged. Lower your chest about 3/4. Inhale, lift your chest. Don't forget to squeeze your pelvic floor here. Lower your chest. Lift your chest, lower your chest. Now, there is a way to do this in a bigger range, but we're not stretching. You lift with your chest, your back. You use your hands as little as possible to lift up with your back muscles, and then you use your hands as little as possible so you don't flop down, and use your back muscles to lower down. It's all strength in the back. So if you use your hands right now to lift your chest, that's not what we're doing. It's not the stretchy cobra. I did it in a way the hands can be activated so little to help you learn to activate your back muscles in ranges you normally can't. So when I get into the zone doing this, it's such incredible back strengthening work. Okay. I hope I'm explaining this clearly without repeating myself too much. Pretty talkative today. So it's like you're doing the full cobra, but for pure strength in the back. So like I said, it's using your arms minimal, but they help you lift in the spaces where you can contract your back, particularly lower back, middle back. And then you resist lowering down with the back muscles. All right. Last few. And this goes right into a second part, which is going to now connect our hamstrings more and our butt more to that back tension. We did hip circumduction. We did spinal light circumduction into hip strong circumduction into spinal rotation. Okay. Now we're in symmetrical spinal extension into hip extension. There's a strategy we're doing right now. There's a lot of reason behind what's happening. So now it's the butt. That's your main hip extensor. So now listen, guys, take your time. Do this if you need. Windshield wipe. Stretch. Do child pose if you need. We're going there next anyway. So this is the exercise. If you were in yoga core, we did this week. I want to repeat it, okay? Chest forward, belly in, fingertips down. Watch me here. Just your legs lift. They lower down about 3/4, 90%. Legs up. Legs hover. Legs up. Legs hover. Go ahead. We need a little more water, guys. Be right back. Do you guys feel your butt? You're lifting your legs. Remember, I'm trying to keep you in spinal extension, which
makes it more compound. It is an isolated exercise. You're just basically lifting the legs with your hips. But if you keep the spine in extension, that's the chain, right? It's your back muscle through your hips. Try to straighten your legs and point your toes. You're trying to lift your knees and your thighs, not just the lower leg. You're trying to straighten the leg as much as possible. Okay, so it looks like who I can see, it looks pretty good. I guess I can't really see anyone, but I can see Anna, but I can't really see what you're doing. So our next thing here, guys, is a quick child pose, right? That's big stuff. The plank was considered front and side body, and then you came through your back bodies. So listen, guys, I want to make our way back up to standing. Let's see what time we got. We only have about 18 minutes left in class. I want to get a little bit of balance work done. As you can see, it's been an awkward class. Don't be shy to throw in things, that we're not doing that you wanted to do today. All right. I wanted to give you a little something different today. Let's stand up.
All right, so I want to go right into dynamic balance. Dynamic, just think moving, okay? We always hold positions. Now, if you're new to this, you might have to break it down in pieces and rest a lot in between. No worries, all right? Left knee lifts. Now, bend your right knee. Now look, turn your left knee across your body and hold. And I'm just turning at my core and my hips. The left knee, the chest is facing over to the right. My right foot did not pivot, it's still facing forward. Right hip is our target, standing hip. Listen, now turn the left knee open, turn your core, knee open away, feel your right buttocks light up. Yogis, we just did extension of glute. Now we're doing rotational aspects of glute. It's all still stringing together. It's the two main actions of your glutes along with pelvic tilt. Okay, left knee across to the right again. Hip flexor practice. We didn't do much hip flexors, right? So I'm turning the knee across. Okay, listen, turn the knee open again. I'm turning open to the left. Feeling the back of my right leg light up.
This is a lot of lower back, guys, today. If you need rest, you take it, okay? Okay, listen, back to center. Release that leg. Shake it out, please.
Right knee lifts. Knee across. Turn your core to the left. Hold. It's like a puzzle. Can you figure out what we're targeting? What muscles are contracting? I know you feel your right hip flexor, but can you feel your outer left upper hip? Knee goes wide.
So right knee across to the right. Feel your left hip here, guys. That's our main target, to try to stay on this leg. And it's all, the standard term is spiral line. Just think like rotational aspects. Go back to center, knee across the body, right? So twice through each rotational quality. Try to figure it out. Slow down, feel your body. Just holding that knee up is not easy, right? And don't worry, we got a little counter we're gonna do. And then you go back, open hip, turn your hip away. So your chest, your navel is turning away from your standing leg. Your navel too, chest also. Turn your core, chest away from the standing leg. You don't keep your chest facing forward like we do more so. All right, back to center release.
Quick counter posture, guys. So that's hip flexor, right? So how do we got to do a little hinging. Haven't done much. So a nice counter is just like Warrior 3, right? You were upright turning. Now the leg goes into extension. You just did that on your chest, but I want one more round. So it just basically is like here. Okay, drop the left hip down. Just do your, the first side.
So a nice solid go at Warrior 3 here, guys. Just notice if you're opening the hip. We just kind of did that, so now you keep your hip neutral. Really go for straightening the back leg here and either pointing the toe or flexing the foot and drop that hip down. Easier is to keep your hands in prayer on your hips. Stronger is to reach your arms forward or to go for a different bind like Eagle, Gomukhasana, or Reverse Prayer. Chest opener would be hands behind your lower back like you had the opportunity earlier in class. Looks good, everyone. Just make sure you're pulling that belly in and notice if you overcramp your toes. Equal weight throughout the foot. If you cramp the toes, I like to suggest kind of lifting the toes, spreading them, and relaxing, then putting them down. All right. Really balances more in the three arches of the foot in this kind of balance, unless you're intentionally trying to like lift your heel, toe balance. Okay. Second side, please. Give you a good, 45 seconds, a minute if we can there. And just a reminder, yogis, I am leaving for France tomorrow. I'm camping on the beach in a very rural area. I don't know if I'm bringing all my stuff for teaching, but I don't know if I'll be able to teach. They say the service is really bad. So we'll see. I have to see. For now, I'm going to say I don't know if I'm going to be able to teach Zoom. I have started to put up classes last night. I think I put like 30 to 50 up last night. I'm going to try to do 30 to 50 tonight. I'm going to send out the mass link. So you'll have a lot of different classes, hopefully at least 100 to practice while I'm gone. Take advantage of them. I'm going to have yoga core, yoga flexibility, gentle yoga, restorative yoga. Maybe you challenge yourself and you do a half hour of a class every day. Consistency is best. Okay, you guys done with Warrior 3? That side one looked like it went fast. We got one more standing thing, and you did it earlier in tabletop. Hip circling, standing. Now this is the one you got to be a little bit more detailed and subtle with, because the body can start to go like this and this. So first leg, I'm gonna do my left leg first, because I've been demonstrating on my right. Demonstrating in yoga is like the ultimate imbalancer for me. So I bring the knee up and I bring it across. Remember how you brought it to the underarm? Okay, you could even rotate here like this a little. So it's like lateral external. Okay, you hold there for a moment and then take your time. You bring it wide. I'm not turning with the chest now, just bring it wide. Okay, and then I turn the hip down, which internally rotates the hip. I lift the foot higher than the knee, and then I push the heel back up and start to tilt up, so you keep the chest neutral. And then you bring the leg behind you. It's like you're kicking behind you. You're kicking behind you. We do this a lot. You pull the belly in, so the knee's down by the knee, and then you squeeze the heel to your butt more. You point the toe, okay? And then you bring it back up in center. Go slow. Bring the leg across to the front. You can also laterally rotate, so angle the shin. Okay, then you go really slow. Remember, it's not really like you're pausing anywhere. Equal effort through all inches. You bring the knee to the left. You don't really turn your chest now like you did previously. And then you start to turn the hip down, so it's an internal rotation. The leg is still out to the side for a moment. You're working rotational qualities. The foot starts to go higher than the knee because the knee is turning in and down, but then you kick the heel back. Yeah, and then you bring the knee down. Okay, and then you push the heel back, but you pull your belly in, and then you pull the heel to your butt, point the toe, and then it's only 3 each direction. Can you do one more super slow in this direction? Sorry, yogis, no lunges today. No, not much squatting. You did your chair earlier. And then the good news is you only got 3 in this direction on your first leg, and then you're done with this stuff on the one leg. So see if you can circle the opposite direction nice and slow, articulating both extension, flexion, internal, external rotation, and abduction, adduction. The adduction's a little tough, right? It's where the thighs kind of cross. And mainly I had you do it in front. You can do it in the back too. It's like your back, when the leg comes down, the foot's pressing back, the knee goes back. It's like your knee crosses behind your thigh. That's a tough part there, okay? It's the slowest, biggest hip circle you can do standing. articulating the end ranges of like pushing across, pushing up, pushing wide back, pushing back. Okay. Yeah, you can shake it out. That's totally fine. You most likely have to. If you're new to this stuff, it's torturous. Okay, then you're going to do your second side. It looks like 1 or 2 years are done. So it's 3 each direction like we did earlier. Yogis, after this, we're going to do like 1 core symmetry. You're going to hit your abs hard. And I'll give you a moment for like a last. You got like 2 strong exercises after this. That's it. All right. And they're both symmetrical and stuff you're familiar with. So a lot of balance, right? So it's normal if you fall. You just slow, get back where you are. Get back into it. Looks good. Nice. Come on, feel it all. Slow it down. Hey, Mate, I see you wrote me here on the direct message. Do you get my normal emails to remind you? Because if you get the normal emails, you'll be included in the link. I'm going to send that out later tonight. Cool. And make sure you go with 3. You know, if you can't do 3 a direction, you do 2, right? If you can't do 2, you do 1. You gotta modify this stuff for your level and where you're at. A lot of times when you're doing this in like strength training, it's more like 5, 6 each direction. You know, sometimes you do it like 5 on one side, do the other leg, then you do the other direction 5, right? So this takes some time to really do well. And again, you're looking out for the compensations. Remember, compensations are your body kind of moving in to unintentional spaces so you can try to do it easier or further range. You know, that's like a thing. Everyone wants to go further, but we want more quality and posture and body awareness, more intention. Okay. So it looks like you guys are done. 1 or 2 of you still going. Our next position is going to be a yoga squat. If you want one more sun salutation or something like that, that's a good neutralizer. But I'm going to do, you're going to get the quick neutralizer from me. All right.
I do want to like tighten up your abs really quick in the symmetry. You did the rotating plank. Our side body's pretty good. I just want something to really like kind of tighten up your abdomen. So it's either something like this. You could do this. You could do a combination of both. You know, easier is just a little crunch. How about you give your abs one good kind of real focus?
I tend to do, when I exercise, I tend to do abs in the middle and the end. I know I sometimes do it for you guys in the beginning, but most of the times it's like when I'm on like my last sequence in my exercise, I'll do the strong abs. I might do abs in the beginning for my own, but it's more like a warm-up set to really stimulate and turn on the muscles. I don't like blast and fatigue my core if I still have to do like, you know, full compound, particularly leg exercises. I would usually, you know, because your back's going to get tired and open from this. So listen, guys, to close up practice, what I was going to suggest, we did bridges. We didn't do like too much weight bearing on the arms, right? So I was going to suggest wheel pose if you had it. You know, you flip your hands over your shoulders and you go for the big wheel. If you don't have that, we did enough hips though. So, you know, bridge, you could do restorative bridge here. You did enough butt anyway, but if you wanted one more like huge go through the body, back body, wheel. You do like 2 to 3 rounds if you got it. A nice kind of substitute could be up table or reverse plank. That'll be weight bearing on arms as well. So how about if you're done, you do your restorative bridge. You could also put your legs up. No inversions today, right? So you could do that now as well. How about I give you a minute to two? We're kind of near the end of class, about 5 minutes left. What's one last thing your body could need? Do you want to do a handstand at the wall? Do you want to do a wheel? Um, it was pretty much a kind of unique class, so just give you some time to throw in something you want to do. So, yogis, with today's practice, you're most likely going to experience soreness. Whenever you do new things, the body kind of, let's say, sets off alarms in the form of pain. You don't want to be discouraged by your body hurting. You want to remember your body is so tough, so strong. Anything I learned in anatomy, it's that your body is so capable at any age and strong, tough. You don't want to set the placebo. You don't want to set the mind state like you think you're weak because you do create that message in the body. That's not really like foo-foo yoga. It's like science. You gotta think about your body and the way you desire it. And that's a little bit more like meditation practice. Like you have to set that intention and sit and think like I am strong, I am strong, I am powerful. If you've read the book The Secret, let's do a hip stretch of choice, please. Figure four, pigeon, straddle. We didn't do anything of those. Virasana would be good, frog. If you've read the book The Secret, it's a world famous book, right? There's the mantras they teach you in there. You sit for 5 minutes a day and you do, I am powerful, I am powerful, I am strong. And you feel the different energies of those identities. I am happy, I am caring. I can't remember the other three. I think there's 7 of them. But it's all these really powerful, reassuring mantras to the psyche. If you're sore, the point is that's a sign of growth and change. I always say if you work out a lot and you don't get sore anymore, it's called plateauing, and it's almost like you need to change your exercise to challenge the mind body. We're here to challenge ourselves mainly, not to make it feel really good. I know that's a thing in yoga, don't do it if it doesn't feel good, but I don't believe in that. You send your kids to school for 20 years and they're frustrated, they're challenged, they're learning new things every single day, and that's how they grow. And then we stop it when we're adults. So we did an awkward practice. Just do tomorrow, do therapeutics. You're going to have your gentle yogas and your restorative yogas and your flexibility online, or you do your own little practice, light movements, foam rolling. I'll see if I can put the foam rolling class on if it's not up there yet. You are very strong and capable. If there's one thing we know in kind of a neuromuscular psychological science, that our bodies and minds they are capable of things that we can't even fathom yet, right? It's like if you told a human 1,000 years ago about our society now, they wouldn't be able to comprehend it. But we were capable of it back then. We're capable of so much, it's undescribable. So believe in yourself, yogis, all right? There's your Dharma talk for today. Dharma talk's where we go deep and, we get to you, all right? So listen, closing meditation, guys. It is past 10. I do have to get going, but can you please do a short meditation on your own just to calm your body for a few minutes after a interesting practice? I appreciate you yogis showing up and putting your trust in me, and I keep studying for you guys so we can keep growing as a group. I will see you. If I don't see you, I'll see you in a couple of weeks. I'll send you an email to make sure I'm doing good over there at least. And yeah, check your emails. Reach out to me if you don't get the email for some reason. Okay. Thank you, yogis. Have a good couple of weeks. If I don't see you, namaste, everyone. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Wasma. Thanks, Anna, Stephen, Kathy, Donna, Jasmine.